Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening once again, honorable city council members, Mayor McCrate, Madam Treasurer, Deputy Clerk, our city attorney, the administrative staff and audience, and also to those viewing via our broadcast channel and YouTube Live. Welcome to the City of Romulus City Council regular meeting, and today's date is Monday, February 6, 2023. Members of the public wishing to participate in this meeting may do so under the public comment portion of the agenda. Please fill out a request to speak public comment card located on the table in the back of the chambers and hand it to the deputy clerk. Additionally, members of the public who are viewing tonight's meeting via our broadcast channel or YouTube Live can submit their comments to publiccomment@romulusgov.com. Mr. Chair, the agenda calls for roll call. Roll call was taken at our special meeting that was held at 7 o'clock. We do have a quorum. All members are present with the exception of Councilman Wadsworth.
Mr. Wadsworth was excused.
So noted. We do have a quorum for tonight's regular meeting.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Tonight's regular council meeting agenda is as follows. Number 1, agenda. Number 2, minutes. Number 3, petitioner. 4, chairperson's report. 5, mayor's report. 6, clerk's report. 7, treasurer's report. 8, public comment. 9, unfinished business. 10, new business. 11, communication. And number 12, adjournment. And a motion will be in order to accept the regular council meeting agenda as presented.
So moved to accept the regular council meeting agenda as presented.
Support.
It's been motion by Ms. Talley, supported by Ms. Abdo, for approval of the agenda as presented. Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you. Number 2, minutes. Agenda item 2A for approval of the minutes from the regular meeting held on Monday, January 23rd, 2023 at 7:30 p.m.
So moved for approval of the minutes from the regular meeting held on January 23rd.
Support.
Been motion by Ms. Abdo, supported by Ms. Talley, for approval of the minutes from Monday, January 23rd at 7:30. Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Agenda item 2B for approval of the minutes from the special meetings that were held on Monday, January 23rd, 2023. At 6 o'clock, we had a special meeting executive session, again at 6 o'clock, to discuss the pending litigation of Gilmore versus City of Romulus and Romulus Police Department, and a special meeting study session at 6:30 to hear Future IQ's final report findings and recommendation for the city's visioning project. Motion will be in order to accept the minutes from these special meetings.
Need a motion?
I make the motion to support,
Okay.
to accept that motion.
It's been motioned by Ms. Williams,
Support.
supported by Ms. Abdo, for approval of the minutes from the special meeting on executive session on Monday, the 23rd, 6 p.m. And pending litigation, Gilmore versus City of Romulus, Fire Police Department, and the special meeting study session held on Monday, January 23rd at 6:30 p.m. Your future IQ's final report finding and recommendation of city vision project. Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Number 3, petitioners, and there are no petitioners on tonight's agenda. It takes us to number 4, chairperson's report.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Tonight, we had a 7 o'clock study session, proposed amendments for Southern Gateway Overhead District and Airport District uses. At this time, the chair is going to recognize our library director, Patty Brayton.
Good evening, Council.
Good evening.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, Madam Clerk, Madam Treasurer, Mr. Mayor, and audience. My name is Patty Braden. I'm the Library Director here at Romulus Public Library, and I'm here to present the state of the library for July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2022. First, I want to introduce our library board. Our president is Jim Naprakowski. Our vice president is Jennifer Johnson. She's also our representative for Huron Township, whom we also serve. Candace Lukowitz is our secretary, and she's in the audience tonight. Thank you, Candy, for being here. Debbie Hoffman is our treasurer, and Councilwoman Kathy Abdo is also a member of the board. So tonight I'm just going to give you a quick overview on our accomplishments for 2021-22. And those include the capital improvement project, other accomplishments that we were able to achieve, the grants that we were awarded, and then I'll wrap it up with our strategic plan goals for 22-23. So based on requests from patrons and residents, when we did a survey 4 years ago, we had requested input on the library, what we're doing well, what we can improve on. And by far, the top priority was to improve the interior of the building. So based on that, this year we were able to accomplish quite a big project. We built a functional new modern service desk, circulation desk. We're calling it a service desk because we provide all sorts of services there. We improved our lighting, and we created a more user-friendly shape, size, and placement. We created a larger public computer area. We added power and data outlets in the floor. The space is much more functional. All the computers are together in one spot when you walk into the building, which provides better access for our patrons. We expanded the meeting room space. We added a sink, which we never had before, which is very helpful for those using the space. We added large screens for presentations, and the rooms are now designed to be 2 smaller rooms, Community Room 1, Community Room 2, or 1 large room combined. We installed new carpeting throughout the public service area and into the adult section. We shifted a lot of the shelving to be compliant with the Americans with Disabilities Act, and we added storage space so that we can get to the furniture and other supplies easily from the meeting room. Other accomplishments, the list is long, so I'll just run through these quickly. We added a new DVD collection, which is binge boxes, where it comes with many different movies all together. So for people who want to binge, they can check those out. We added a teen advisory board so that teens can give us their feedback on what they would like for the library. We received a grant to purchase laptops and Chromebooks, and we are checking them out for patrons. We added a homebound delivery service. We added a notary public service. I've mentioned before the VHS to DVD digitizing service that we're offering. We added an outreach component to our staff so that we're having 2 different staff members who reach out to the public and try to reach more people to get them into the library and to provide service for them. And we also added a new video streaming service. We had another grant that we used to purchase Wi-Fi throughout the parking lot that has been installed and is working well. We digitized our library historical documents. We had a whole drawer full of photos, maps, correspondence. There's even old photos of the original library from 1923 down on Goddard, and we were able to get those all digitized so that we can preserve them. We completed 65 of our 74 strategic plan goals to date. We purchased room booking and event scheduling software. It makes it much easier for patrons who want to use the room to book online themselves and see the availability of the rooms. We started filming our promotional videos ourselves with the equipment that we received from an ARPA grant. We were able to get 4 new read boxes for our local parks. The Romulus Rotary built them for us, and they should last quite a few years. And we added a butterfly garden. This was with donated funds from 34th District Court staff in memory of a couple of staff members who had passed away from COVID. And the Romulus Garden Club did all the work for us, so we're very thankful to both of them for that. So I mentioned the grants that were awarded. The ARPA grant included 3 different kits that we got through the Library Network, which is our cooperative. The computing technology grant, the outdoor programming kit, computing technology kit, outdoor programming kit, and online programming kit. And these 3 kits include Chromebooks, cameras, tripods, a green screen, a large tent for outdoor programming, microphones and speakers. So it was really, really extensive, and we're very thankful. We never would have been able to purchase these things without the grant. The other grant we received was for the Wi-Fi extension and the laptops that I mentioned. And the third grant we received is for a youth makerspace. And I put a little note in there, what is a makerspace? Because most people don't know what a makerspace is. This is a relatively new concept. It's where you provide a workspace in a school or a library for making, learning, exploring. Some of the items in the makerspace are high-tech. Some are low-tech or no-tech at all. So our kit includes arts and crafts supplies, building toys, electronics like a digital camera, 3D printers, and kids and youth of all ages can try out coding, video production, fashion design, jewelry making, and all sorts of other things. So we hold programs to encourage creativity with our makerspace and STEM learning about once a month. So that's it for this year. This current year and into the end of June, our strategic goals include resuming our outreach to area schools and other organizations to serve our youth and teens. We kind of had to put that on hold for a while due to not being able to meet in person, but we're back in full swing now. We've been working with EMU's Bright Futures program, and they're helping us plan some after-school programs. We're working with Huron and Romulus schools to provide field trips for young kids and a number of other things that we'd like to do with them. We're in contact with them now about those things. Story time at local daycare centers. We are meeting regularly. Our staff goes out to Legacy Learning down on Goddard and is doing story time regularly with those kids. And we also have a couple daycare centers in Huron that we are serving. And we're also reaching out to the National Honor Society at schools. Another goal is to continue our improvements to the building. So this includes upgrades to the adult section. It won't be as extensive as the first renovation, phase 1. But phase 2 will include modernizing that area, updating the lighting and the furnishings, adding 2 quiet study rooms that are closed off with a door, but they're clear glass so you can see in and out. A lounge area for reading, working, studying, or meeting with friends. Power in the floor for patrons to charge their laptops, and stand-up computers for quick use. Additionally, we are going to continue our outreach to our senior living facilities. We've been working with Rose at the Senior Center. We've been working with Whispering Willows across the street. And we're also reaching out to the Senior Center in Huron and have developed a partnership with them. And then lastly, our 100th anniversary celebration is this year. We're really excited about it. I brought some little pens for you. I hope you were able to get one that has our new logo on it with 100 years. And we have several programs planned throughout the year for that. So I want to end with this quote from Barry Gordy Jr. that I thought was really inspiring. He says there's no limit to how big your dream is. Most people say the sky is the limit, but we say it's not the limit, it's the first step. So that's the quote that we're going on this year, and I just think it's very inspirational. Thank you for having me, and I'll take any questions or comments you might have.
Any comments from Ms. Williams? Go ahead. Were you first, Eva? Go ahead.
I wasn't at all.
Go ahead, Ms. Williams, go ahead. And then,
I
Ms.
would
Page.
just like to say, I went over to the library for a meeting, and that was my first time in the library since the updates. Wonderful, wonderful, excellent job.
Thank
Keep
you
up
so
the good
much.
work.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Okay. Ms. Brady, you said you had a notary public there
We
too,
do.
right? Oh, great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah, and I know there's several notaries here at City Hall. The reason we wanted to add a notary is because we're open till 8 o'clock in the evenings.
Oh, okay.
You know, and so we can service those people who need help in the evenings, and also Saturdays, we're open all day. So our notary is available.
Good. Like I said, you and your people that work with you is doing a great job. Come a long way.
Yes.
A long way.
Yes.
And thanks for you guys' service, Ms. Abdo and all your appointees that's on your team. Good job.
Thank you so much.
Ms. Page?
Hi.
Hi.
I always look forward to you presenting every year because I look at all this stuff and I go, is there anything more that you can add that you haven't already covered? And you always come up with more stuff. So kudos to you, your staff, your team. It's excellent. And as you're going through this, I see where you're working with the schools, and I think that's fantastic. And I thought, gosh, wouldn't that be wonderful to read to the seniors? And then I look, and you've already thought of that, which is fantastic. And the homebound delivery service, I love all that. I'm just kind of curious, how's the laptops and Chromebooks so customers can come in and check them out and?
Yeah, so the laptops can be checked out in the building. So
Okay.
if you want to use it, move it over, to a study area
Yeah.
and use it, you can do that. The Chromebooks can be checked out outside of the building, so you can take them home for a
Wow.
2-week checkout.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's fantastic.
And
Great
just
job.
ask that you don't lose it.
Of course.
Please
Great
return.
job.
Thank you so much.
Ms. Webb?
I like just this skit because I talk too much nowadays. I'm lonely. But in a way, thank you. Thank you for being honest. Thank you for your presentation. And thank you for almost completing every detail that you had presented to council. You've used your grant monies wisely. You've done it all. And as a resident and a grandparent, reading is very, very important to me and my children. But for you as a librarian to take the time to put it in black and white now, exactly what you were going to do, and when it comes back to us, it is exactly what you said it was going to do. We need people like you in the city because first of all, you're honest. Your workers are so devoted, not only to you, but also to the children of the city of Romulus. And I appreciate it. And when I looked down and I noticed a marker space, we had those at all the elementary schools years ago. I don't know, I don't think you weren't here, but Ms. Lukowitz was.
Yeah.
The room was in the center of our elementary schools. And we could, the kids could go in and do their things. And that is so nice by working with the schools and with the seniors. I mean, what can I say? You're one of the best.
Thank you so much, Eva.
Thank you,
Appreciate
and
it.
thank your workers, your employees.
And I
as
will
well.
let them know, and I just want to say, there's a lot of talented people here in Romulus, so
Yeah.
I'm not alone, and I enjoy working with everyone.
That's right.
Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Ms. Talley and then the mayor.
Patty, I just want to say, just great job. I mean, you are a visionary. I'm serious. Like Ms. Councilwoman Webb said, you set the vision and then you execute the vision. So I just want to thank you for that. Everybody don't have that gift and talent. I don't have that gift and talent, that vision and then the execute. I'm an executor, but I'm not a visionary. So I just want to thank you for your vision, your execution of the vision along with the team. I'm sure there's a lot of people that's involved with the library, that's all involved with it, but, you know, being that visionary to execute the vision, to help execute it is just a phenomenal. I love the youth component, the teen advisory board, that's just amazing. And then seeing Bright Futures get back involved again into the community is just very, very encouraging to hear. So I don't get over there as much as I used to, but yeah, you guys are doing an amazing job, and happy 100 years, and I hope to be able to participate in the festivities as you go throughout the year. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Mayor?
Thank you, and I'll be brief. Just to echo what Council has said, great job by you and your staff to run a great library. I sit front and center, and I watch the traffic go in and out, and those important programming things you do to build community, and also the commission. I see Ms. Lucas sitting back there too, but the Library Commission, the work you guys have done, it wasn't long ago when they closed the doors for the library, or we're working to close it, and what you guys have done is reimagined, refinanced, and reopened that, and to be better than you ever were before. Great job, and those are the important parts that build community and bring our residents in, and our schools, and our seniors, and great work over there. Just keep good job.
Thank you so much. And I have to say, if you have any suggestions for something that you're not seeing that we're doing, please let me know. We'll try to work on it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That concludes the chairperson's report.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to accept your report.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. Talley, for approval of the chairperson's report. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved. Thank you.
Number 5 is the mayor's report.
Thank you. Good evening, City Council, Madam Treasurer, Madam Clerk, Deputy Clerk, listening audience. Before I get into my action items tonight, we draw your attention to the monitors for an announcement from Vanessa Tolliver in the Mayor's office.
Hello, I'm Vanessa Tolliver, and here are some events happening in Romulus. Team registration is still open for the 6th annual Curling Royale at Marianne Banks on February 11th at 3 p.m. The cost is $25 per person, and all proceeds will help fund Great Lakes Burn Camp for kids. Contact the Mayor's office at 734-942-7571 to register your 4-person team. The backup date will be February 18th. Hey mothers and sons, let's shake, rattle, and bowl. Tickets are on sale now for the Mother and Son Night Out at Romulus Lanes. Cost is $20 and includes 3 games of bowling and a flower for mom, pizza, and fun. Each additional child is $5. Tickets can be purchased at the Community Development Office. The annual dog and cat inoculation will be held on Saturday, February 18th at the Romulus Department of Public Works, located at 12600 Wayne Road. Residents can pay for dog licenses as well as dog and cat vaccinations. Fluff and Puff pet grooming will also be available to provide low-cost nail trimming. For more information, contact the Romulus Animal Shelter at 734-942-7591. The Vision Romulus, our community, our future vision and strategic plan has been released. Thank you to the nearly 1,000 people that participated in the visioning process. You all were very instrumental in creating a common vision for the future of Romulus. You can view the entire report by visiting our website. And thanks everyone, and remember to like and share us on Facebook and YouTube, or visit our website for more information. Have a great night.
Thank you, Vanessa. And one other thing that we did last week, we've all heard conversations around an organization that's grown in Detroit and is thinking about branching out and they're thinking about choosing Romulus. So There was a lot of misconception, a lot of misinformation in the community about the downtown boxing gym, which is a great, in my opinion, a great program to mentor youth. So Councilwoman Taylor, Councilwoman Williams, we got an invite to go down there and meet the staff and let them tell their story. So there was limited seating that we could have on the tour, but there was a lot of community leaders and people out in the community and faculty members that went out to visit the site and go through it and let them tell their story and really find out what that was. So thank you for taking time out of your days to go down there. I'd like to have taken everybody down there, but the scheduling and the invites that they sent out and that they organized wouldn't accommodate that. So it's just a great program to see, and they're really focused on the kids and making sure nobody's slipping through the cracks, and it's really about quality over quantity at the downtown boxing gym. So it's more than just a boxing program. That's why I thought it was important to get some people in our community out to that site and walk through it and see it, hear their story, touch it, and see how they impacted the kids' lives. So thank you to everybody who participated in that. And that being said, I'll get into the action items on my report tonight. The first one I have is the DDA board appointment. So I would ask the council concur with the administration and approve the appointment of Danielle Gibson to the Downtown Development Authority for the term to expire July 31st, 2026.
Through the chair,
Yes, Ms. Talley?
I'd like to make that motion and concur with administration and approve the appointment of Danielle Gibson to the Downtown Development Authority with the term to expire on July 31st, 2026.
Support.
Motion by Ms. Talley, supported by Ms. Williams for DDA board appointment. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you. Thank you, Danielle Gibson, for stepping up and want to have her voice heard in our community. The next item I have is Recreation Commission appointments and reappointments. So I ask that council concur with the administration and approve the appointment of Leah Gillette to the Recreation Commission and request the reappointments of Sandy Tenney, Ruby Paisley, William Wadsworth, and Diane Poet with all with terms to expire on December 31st, 2026.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make that motion.
Yes, Ms.
That we approve the appointment of Leah Gillette to the Recreation Commission and request the reappointments of Sandy Tenney, Ruby Paisley, William Wadsworth, and Diane Poet.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Abdo, supported by Ms. Webb, for Recreation Commission appointments and reappointments. Any discussion?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
I just noticed, to the mayor, I just noticed that 4 of the individuals' appointments expired December the 31st. We need to just make sure that we catch this before they expire.
I agree. We're putting steps in place to make sure. It's hard to keep track of all the boards and commissions, but I agree 100%. We catch these before they expire.
Okay. Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, and also thank those residents for stepping up and being a part of a board or commission and helping our community move forward. The next is a resolution to accept the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Workforce Development Grant. So I'd ask the council concur with the administration and adopt the attached resolution accepting the Michigan Department of Health Human Services Workforce Development Grant in the amount of $75,000 to cover specified expenses, which include tuition expenses for paramedic classes for Romulus firefighters enrolled in accredited courses with binding employment agreement with the city of Romulus.
Through the chair,
Yes, Ms. Talley?
I'd like to make that motion and concur with administration and adopt the attached resolution accepting the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Workforce Development Grant in the amount of $75,000 to cover specified expenses, to include tuition expenses for paramedic classes for Romulus firefighters enrolled in an accredited courses with a binding employment agreement with the city of Romulus, and I have discussion.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Talley, supported by Ms. Roscoe, for a resolution to accept the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Workforce Development Grant. Discussion, Ms. Talley.
Yes, I want to just say shout out to Chief Kraus and Jill Martin. We had a fruitful conversation this morning about this grant, just great stuff. And he shared an email that I want to read from Emily Berquist She's the Director of Division of EMS and System of Care for the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. She said, "Congratulations. I don't know if anyone told you, but your application was the absolute best we received. You scored 99 out of 100, and no one has any reservations about the great work that you are doing. Maybe we will send all municipalities to you for help. Great job. Great job."
I would just like to say, I've noticed, I would say maybe the last 10 years, thank you, Kevin, but the biggest thanks go to Jill. I've never seen in the city of Romulus these many grants. I mean, thank you for not asking me for money, but tell Jill, thanks so much for caring that much about her job, that she's applying for the grants like she's doing, and not just for the fire department, for different departments. Tell her thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Okay, any other discussion?
Through the chair, if I may?
Yes, Ms. Webb?
Yes, Jill she's one of the best grant writers I have ever met. I mean, she gets in there and she doesn't only get small dollars, she gets larger dollars. And she will help any other organization or any other department in this city. She does not pick and choose because she has been an employee here for quite a while and she's totally dedicated. And fire chiefs, you couldn't do without her. And thank you also, Kevin.
Thank you, Ms. Webb. If there's no other discussion, roll call vote. Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
Thank you. And also thank you to Jill Martin for all her hard work and her grants. You're right, if you read her grants, you can definitely read, that passion for Romulus really comes out. So she knows her community, and that's why she's been successful. So thanks, Jill. Keep up the great work and keep bringing us those federal dollars as they put them out there. The next item I have is a master settlement agreement for the Meyer Settlement Participation Agreement. And that's all part of the opioid settlement for the lawsuits that's going on right now. And this is the Meyer Settlement portion of that. So I would ask the council concur with the administration and grant authorization for the mayor and clerk to enter into the attached master settlement agreement and Meyer settlement participation agreement and accept the net payment of $6,979.70 as a final settlement as set forth in the attached documents.
Mr. Chair, I'll make that motion to accept the master settlement agreement and Meyer settlement participation agreement in the amount of $6,979.70.
Support.
It's a motion by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. Webb, for a master settlement agreement and Meyer settlement participation agreement. Any discussion?
To the chairman.
Yes, go ahead, Ms. Talley.
So I have a question. Steve, maybe this is for you. I know this is with Myers, but is this the only defendant in this case with the opioids as big as this is?
Oh, no, there's lots of...
Okay, there's a lot more.
There's lots of...
So more money coming?
There's some that is already settled, the money is flowing, and there's more to come in the future.
Okay.
yeah.
I just wanted to make
A
sure.
lot of them are settling with yearly payments, too.
Okay.
So this one happens to be a one-time payment, but many of them are going to pay for 10, 15 years in the
Okay.
future each year.
Okay. Thank you.
Ms. Williams?
I looked at it. So how many cities is included in this 35,000?
Cities, there's 5 states.
5 states?
Yeah. This covers Michigan, Ohio, Kentucky, Illinois, and another one.
Yeah, this is a nationwide lawsuit for the opioid issue.
Myers only has stores in those 5 states.
Right.
So and even though we don't have a store in Romulus, we have a Myers close enough that some of the residents buy prescriptions there.
Right. You know, what my concern is, the dollar amount that our police and our fire department are, have been and will continually use to deal with this issue, why is it so little? You know, because I'm sure the city spent, the fire department spent more than this almost $7,000 in dealing with that issue.
Well, part of the problem with somebody like Myers, they didn't make any opioids, and they weren't salespeople of opioids. They were filling prescriptions, basically. So there's an argument that what did they really do wrong? But to get themselves out of this litigation, they've agreed, and there's been negotiations on it, to pay this money that's spread over these 5 states.
So is it, this
But there are lots of other defendants where the amounts are much, much bigger, in the billions of dollars. You're going to see coming down the road, but between now and April, some more in which the amounts are hundreds of millions. So,
is that Romulus included, or that's just?
well, we're included, but we're not getting hundreds of millions.
Right.
Yes, but the amount they have to pay to get a settlement is much, much higher because they were in the manufacturing or distributing of the opioids.
So Romulus will get more down the road?
Yes.
Okay. I was just concerned because it's not even just Belleville. There's a lot of Romulus residents that use the one in Westland and the one in Canton, so, you know.
Well, yeah, but the way that worked is, if those communities, those Myers, nobody filed any lawsuit, then they're not in the settlement.
Right. Well, I was just wondering, I was concerned of why so little, you know, and I was concerned of how much is our fire department and police department using, you know, from their funds to combat that situation. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Next item I have is for the Brant Street and the Oak Brook CDBG funding agreement. This one, there's been a couple different conversations about different projects we have on Brant Road. We have Brant Road North in the industrial. We're working on the special assessment right now. This is Brant Road on the south end of Romulus and residential on the Oak Brook side of it. So Roberto put a quick presentation together to explain what we're working on over there. Brant, Roberto, you want to come on up?
Good evening, Council. As the mayor mentioned, there's a couple different projects that we have going on in the city that we've been discussing over the last month, and the mayor asked me to put together a couple pieces of information to kind of help explain the last 2 agenda items that are on the mayor's report, that is E and F. So we're talking about Brant Street right now. There's a subrecipient agreement for CDBG funding, or a grant fund, and there's also a budget amendment. And I want to talk a little bit about where the location is, even for the viewing public. So we're talking about Brant Street right here, okay, south of Eureka. It's the residential portion. Historically, everybody knows the condition of the road. We have been in there a couple times with some repairs. The road is severely distressed. Back in 2014, you can see here, this is a picture when we first started some repairs. This was in 2014. We dropped back in 2019. We did a little bit more repairs. We would have liked at that time when we were out there to reconstruct the whole road, but you know, essentially we just didn't have the funds. So each year we would use the allotment that we had for local roads to reconstruct a portion of it. Since then, what's happened recently is the mayor, along with Maria Lambert, had been working with Wayne County during the time that the ARPA funds were released, and the mayor was pushing heavily that we get some local road funding for the city of Romulus. And what we found was that Wayne County allotted us $536,000 for CDBG funding in that area. So that area actually qualified for some sort of grant assistance. We wanted, you know, and what we proposed to them was the whole road for funding for reconstruction, but what they came back was with this allotment. And this right here is a kind of an excerpt out of the subrecipient agreement. That's one of the action items that's on council agenda tonight, is to approve that grant for us to move forward on. This kind of talks a little bit about the dynamics of the funding and how we're funding it. There is a portion that is coming out of general fund. You can see it right here. $356,000 will be released from the general fund. That's the budget amendment that's in your packet. That's item F, okay? And then we're going to recognize the revenue from the grant, the 536, and the total funding for the project is 1.4 million. It just so happens that the DPW for this fiscal year had $600,000 set aside for local roads. The mayor's priority was that we try to couple that up with any type of grant assistance to make, the most impact. And Brant Road was just, one of those areas that, again, we had qualified for some grant funding. So as typical, when we get in and reconstruct a street or repave a street, we always get the calls from the residents that we start to see speeding now that the surface is smooth and unobstructed with potholes and everything else. So what the mayor has us looking into is what type of traffic calming can we build into the road, if at all. Now, these are just some conversations we're having. Nothing is definite yet. We yet to have a resident meeting to kind of get some feedback and input. But one of the things we're looking at would be what would it look like if there were bump outs along the street to kind of help reduce and slow down some of the vehicles that might gain speed now that we have a nice smooth surface. So we were looking at things like bump outs and where they could be placed, and then obviously what impact that would have to the resident. Again, there's no definite choice yet, but these are just some of the things we're looking at. We're also looking at a heightened crosswalk with an island in the middle. This could be put at the beginning of an intersection where there's a crosswalk. So again, just some strategies for traffic calming. Nothing has been decided yet, but things that we're looking into on the mayor's behalf regarding that road. And obviously, council knows what we had some of our residents bring up in the past regarding some of the roads that we recently resurfaced. So just wanted to let you know that we are looking into things. There's no definite decision, but we'll definitely see what we can do. With that, I'll end it off. Again, this kind of pertains to item E and F of the agenda, and if there's any questions, I can handle them now, or we can.
Ms. Williams?
Yes. I can't say enough that needs to be done.
Absolutely.
And it really do. I mean, you almost can't even walk down Brant. It's so bad, and it's just getting worse. But at the same time, I asked you and I asked the mayor to look into, Brant Road is a neighborhood road.
Yes.
But you have just as much traffic, and maybe you can look into this for the next grant that you would ask Wayne County or even the state of Michigan. With all the money they got from the federal government, it needs to be more money come our way. It really do. Because I see where so many cities around us is getting road funding. And why not Romulus? We have the only major airport in the entire state of Michigan. So Wayne Road from Van Born all the way to Wick, it needs some help. It does. Wayne Road should be 2 lanes, on both sides instead of just one. I know the modernizing of Ecourse and Wayne Road is coming. That's a wonderful thing, but that needs to be looked into because Wayne Road is one of our main roads that lead from the city of Wayne all the way here to the city hall. So I would just ask, since once you're finished with this or in the meantime, please see where, and I'm doing my part as not only a council person, but as a resident, because it's too many cities, Inkster, Westland, Wayne, they're getting millions of dollars to repair their roads. And they need to think about us.
Absolutely, and we understand. And if I could just respond to that, we have been looking at Wayne Road. We submitted Wayne Road for the exact limits you mentioned for ARPA funding. Wayne County is chewing it over. We haven't really heard much response back, but that's definitely been looked at. We sent them some numbers. That actually is their jurisdiction, but we went to the step that we looked at what would be needed, what the enhancement would be, and the amount of money it would cost. And we submitted it back to them, with the hopes that the ARPA funds might come through, but we have yet to see. And we submitted on a whole host of local roads and major roads all throughout the city.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Ms. Abdo?
You are definitely going to have a meeting of the people who live on Brant Road?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, so will you be notifying them by mail then?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, and you'll let us know when that is, in case we
Absolutely.
want to be a part of it? Because I think they need to put some input on,
Yeah. Yeah,
thank you very much.
yeah, no problem.
Question, John.
Ms. Roscoe?
Through the chair. So on this page 91, which it's not 91 pages into it, on what we have here, it says the term of the agreement is July 1st, 2022. Shouldn't that be 2023? Because then down further in the paragraph, it talks about needing to complete the work 18 months from the time of the agreement. I might be misunderstanding that paragraph or taking it out of context, but.
Yeah, so I didn't have as much to do with the agreement, but what I can tell you is I believe Wayne County backdated the agreement to the days that we had the discussions of what type of grant funding we would have. We do have a limit that they would like to see this complete by August 2023, and we believe we can make that date as well. So I believe that that's what it's trying to signify.
Okay, because it also says the term of the agreement goes to 2027.
Yeah.
So, but we only have 18 months to complete it
I
from
think
the
they
time
want us
we
to
start
build,
or
they
from
want
the.
us to build it in 18 months from that back date. That's why they're kind of pushing us hard to have it wrapped up by August 23.
Okay.
I have a feeling that that 27 date might have something to do with reimbursement and kind of the cash flow on both ends to receive and just, deposit the money.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. Ms. Talley?
I actually asked him that same question because I couldn't reconcile it in my mind. But a couple of quick questions, Roberta. We talked earlier, but I didn't get a chance to ask you. We got a lot of grants going on in our city, and I've asked Chief Kraus about this. Who's doing the monitoring for compliance? We got a lot of grants going on, and it's a lot of detail in there. Who's doing the monitoring of the compliance for it?
It really depends which grant we're talking about.
This one here?
Okay, so if we're talking about this one here, it would be myself.
Okay.
We would also be using our engineers, OHM, to do the inspection out on site when the project is built. There was a lot of talk that Wayne County was gonna build this road for us, but me and the mayor had a lot of conversations with their administration that we felt it would be better for us in-house to control kind of the design and the construction of that road.
Okay. And then my last question, when you was talking earlier about traffic, smoothing out the traffic, speeding, what is bump out? What is that?
Kind of like an island.
Okay.
Yeah, let me go
It's not
back
that
to-
picture you showed, that a bump out?
Yeah, so right here, it would be a curb that comes out, similar to like downtown Romulus on Goddard.
Okay.
Where you have the bump out where a car can sneak in and park there.
Okay.
That's a similar kind of fashion. It would just be an island that pushes out. So visually, when a car comes down the road, it would see the narrowing curb and have a tendency to slow down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. So when I'm traveling down to the city, I'm on 94, right after or before Southfield Freeway. It's this patch, when you're driving, it's like bumping crazy. I don't know if it's just bad road or if it's like a deterrent for speeding too, because it feel like you got a flat tire. So that's what I was thinking when you were saying that, but do you know what that is? It's some kind of,
Yeah,
it goes
rumble-
for a little
rumble
while.
strips. Rumble
Huh?
strips. Rumble strips.
That's what it is, okay. Okay, I was just wondering, okay. Is that like a deterrent for speeding?
That is to kind of alert the driver that they're off the driving surface.
People
Like
from
in the
falling asleep.
in the middle of the lane? I mean, I know like on the side,
Sometimes they have it
but like
down
in the middle, like, it's like the middle lane.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what that is.
Okay.
But, you know, what I know of them, what rumble strips are, they'll be on the shoulder.
Right.
Sometimes in a rural area, they'll be down the center line of
This
the
is in the
road.
center lane, like you got your 3 lane, it's in the middle, so that's why it just kind of threw me off a little bit.
Yeah, not too
Okay.
sure what that
Oh,
is.
I just thought I'd ask, thank you.
Yep.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
and I want to clarify too, that these bump outs are just things we're looking at. I mean, we keep hearing the complaints of the speeders and the
Yeah.
people who aren't, they don't stop at stop signs. So we're just looking at traffic calming measures, shame on us if we're not looking ahead and putting these into the design of our new roads. So that's why I tasked Roberto up. I said, work with the OHM, find out what's working in other areas. We've all heard the request for speed bumps. We don't want to put a hazard in the middle of our road. So these, these narrowing devices they have like that is proven in some areas to slow traffic down. And also, Roberto, show the next slide as well. Just having a more visual impact of a crosswalk at the intersection will force people to stop because we hear that the blowing stop signs all the time as well. Obviously, the people who have those bump outs, if that's the route we go, they're not going to want to, because they'll lose a parking spot in front of their house, obviously. So I just want to reiterate that these are just things we're talking about right now. I just told Roberto to incorporate that into our design, so we do have something, we're looking ahead, we're proactive, because we know as soon as we fix that road, the speeds are going to come up, and we're just trying to be ahead of the curve.
Any other discussion?
Just one comment
Attorney?
about the dates in the agreement and why that's being driven. This is our money that the county got from the federal government also. And you have to have this committed into projects by, I think it's September of 2026. So they're pushing us back, and they're forcing the local communities to get going on it, because they want to know that if, for some reason, the local community fails and doesn't do this, they've got time to reallocate that money to some other community before the federal government takes it back, because it didn't get spent.
I can assure you they don't have to worry about that in Romulus. If they give us dollars, we're going to get to work, so. They're not going to have that issue in our department.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
So no further questions on that. I would ask the council concur with the administration and approve the attached sub-agreement community block grant agreement between the Charter County of Wayne and the City of Romulus to secure partial funding for Brant Street Phase 2 in the Oak Brook subdivision in the amount of $536,000, with the remaining balance funded by the City of Romulus following an approved budget amendment.
Mr. Chair, I'll make that motion for Brant Street, Oak Brook subdivision, CDBG funding agreement for $536,000.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. Talley for Brant Street, Oak Brook subdivision, CDBG funding agreement. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, roll call vote. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you. The next we have the budget amendment to assist with funding of the Brant Road South project. If you see in here the mention of the building department and city cert funds, that's because with the construction going on in the community right now, we are trending higher than anticipated revenues in the Department of Building and Safety, and that's where those funds are coming from. So we're going to move them from that account over to the general fund. So with that, I would ask the council concur with the administration and introduce budget amendment 22-23-11 to recognize a budget amendment for the completion of the Brant Road project.
Through the chair,
Ms. Talley?
I'd like to make that motion to concur with administration and introduce budget amendment 22/23-11 to recognize a budget amendment for completion of Brant Road project.
Support.
Motion by Ms. Talley, supported by Ms. Webb. Introduction of budget amendment 22/23-11. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, roll call vote. Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, and that will conclude my report for this evening.
Thank you, Mayor.
And number 6 is the clerk's report. I have 2 action items for council. Agenda item 6A. For first reading and introduction of zoning ordinance text amendment TA-2022-002 to add Article 7 Business District and 8 Industrial Districts for the Southern Gateway Overlay District.
Mr. Chair, I'll make that motion.
Roscoe?
For first reading and introduction of zoning ordinance text amendment TA-2022-002, Article 7, Business District, and 8, Industrial Districts, Southern Gateway Overlay District.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. Talley, for first reading and introduction of zoning ordinance text amendment TA-2022-002, Article 7, Business District, and 8, Industrial Districts, Southern Gateway Overlay District. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, roll call vote. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Through discussion, I was trying to get your attention. This is very important, and I know that it is. I've sat through all these overlays. The only thing that I've ever asked or requested since I've sat on council is that you have the information to us where we don't have to vote on the same evening. I have asked and begged and pleaded for, 8 years or so, but I never get it. I don't have a problem with this. My problem is when the council is not informed. We don't have all the information. You're telling us that this is going to happen, but we don't see it. It's not in black and white. And I'm a person that believes in black and white. I'm going to go ahead and vote yes on this because it's needed. But I've requested planning. I've requested every department in this building to do that for the council. At least respect us. We respect everyone who comes before us, but no one respects us. I requested, do not bring anything the night of, or the day of, or the whatever, and that we should get a call. We have a representative on our council that should be informing us so that we don't get out here and appear as though we don't know what we're doing. We have not been helping to run the city. We should get out here, especially overlays and things, simple things like this. Nobody should even have to hardly question it. And I always have to, do not give this to me the night of. I don't want to see it the night of, because I cannot sit here and think about it. And that's not funny either. If anybody in that audience is sitting up here and our citizens are looking at us, are asking us questions tomorrow, are calling, what do we say? We run through this, the black and white. And I'm not trying to be, I'm just, I love our city. And I want the best for the city, but when we run through all these finances, all the monies that's going through this city, sometimes it's not the people who's presenting, it's the council who's going to get the blame for it at the next time around when you mention that this is happening and it hasn't happened. That's all I'm saying. I'm trying to save the city grief. And that's all I've ever asked from any of you all, whether they're developers or the administration. I don't ask crazy things. I don't cause problems up here, but at least respect us, and I'm including all of us up here, enough to where we all know, because in here, yes, I love to read, but I don't like to read that much anymore. And then it's not there. And that's all I'm asking, and I'm voting yes on it. But I think we need to be informed by whoever's representing planning or whoever's representing this commission. It doesn't matter. Let your colleagues know what is going on before we come here. We used to talk, but we don't talk anymore. Nobody talks, so, and I'm not gonna be calling anymore either, because that's too much on me. It's not my job.
I would just like to say, my opinion, this is only the first reading. So maybe if, before it comes back for the final reading, our planner can present a little bit more information. I'm excited about anything other than a trucking company coming, I tell you that. And as I said, Romulus need to grow, and sometimes we have to take baby steps. Whether it's a gas station or a convenience store, we need something. That's on the other side of the city, and maybe that'll bring them over here to where we're at. You know, just movement. That's what we need, togetherness. And that's how you do it. And as I said, maybe the suggestion of Wayne County and the planners getting together and maybe putting some lights in between from Wick to, well, you have a few lights already because you got one at, I think, North Line. I'm trying to visualize it. But maybe that's something you can do before it comes back before us. I think any type of growth in this city other than a trucking company, and I don't want Johnny to be mad at me because he's a trucker, but let's do it. Because the people want something. Restaurants, I mean, it says a drive-through, but let's have something other than what's on Wayne Road. So, come back before us, and maybe we can have some more details, like Councilwoman Webb said. This is just the first reading, but I appreciate you guys putting your heads together and trying to bring something here. Thank you.
Okay,
Through the chair, just,
yes, Mr. Mayor.
thank you. Just to respond, yeah, we've heard that request, Councilwoman Webb, from multiple council members, and I apologize that this action item is on the agenda again tonight, and we will take steps to make sure this doesn't happen again. It's not an unreasonable request to give you time to marinate and think about it. Unless it's extenuating circumstances or something, we need action items, and we'll make sure that you're reached out to ahead of time by that department head to make sure it's clearly communicated and you have time to think about questions and answers. So, again, I apologize on that, and we have heard those requests before, and we'll make sure that we're doing our best to follow those. It's not unreasonable, so thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
6B, for first reading and introduction to zoning ordinance text amendment TA-2022-003 to amend Article 9, Airport District, to include drive-through restaurants as special land uses.
Need a
Motion
motion?
would be in order for first reading.
I'll make that motion, John.
The motion by Ms. Williams. Need a second?
I'll support that.
Supported by Ms. Roscoe for first reading and introduction of zoning ordinance text amendment TA-2022-003, Article 9, Airport District, drive-through restaurants. Any discussion? Again, any discussion? No discussion, roll call vote. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
I'm sorry, Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Made the motion. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, Council. That concludes the action items. For your information, we provided the 2022 Planning Commission year-end report for your information. And with that, that concludes the clerk's report, and it takes us to number 7, the treasurer's report.
Good evening, thank you. Under the treasurer's report, I have one reminder, and of course, winter taxes are due on Tuesday, February 14th. It's the last day that we can accept property tax is on February 28th. On March 1st, we send that to the county by law. So you have until February 14th to pay the tax, winter tax on time, and of course, we're still accepting summer as well. And if you have any questions, you can call 734-942-7580. Thank you.
Number 8 is public comment, and this is the portion of the agenda for those who are in the audience. And if you would like to address City Council, the rules to address City Council can be found on the back of the meeting agenda. To address City Council, please raise your hand, and after being acknowledged by the chairperson, approach the podium and state your name. Please note members of the public who submitted a public comment card will be called upon first. You will have 3 minutes to speak, and any additional time will be upon the consent of the chairperson. Mr. Chair, we do have one request to speak. Tony Heimberger.
Good evening, Tony Heimberger. Mayor Pro Tem, this may take a few minutes, not a few minutes after 3 minutes, but I'll try to keep it as short as possible. As the clerk stated when this meeting started, if you have a public comment, you can email it for our city council. I did this 2 weeks ago. I emailed a question to the city council. Since the city council is the one paying the bills in this city, you vote on the warrant, the administration does not, the clerk does not, and the treasurer does not. You guys do. So you guys are the responsible to the taxpayers to say, hey, we have a question, what is wrong with this? Instead, I was sitting at home waiting for it to be read. Then I checked my email. She sent my email over to the administration. It was addressed to the city council. I emailed her back, it's for the city council. She did nothing. I then texted a city council person. When she brought this up to the clerk under communications, she decided to try to defame me, saying I'm grandstanding and that it had already been spoke about, which is untrue. She needs to look at the meeting. What I asked the question about was under street lighting, there was over a $7,000 increase in 1 month. And as a council that is paying our bills, you guys should have been knowing why. Hopefully somebody had caught it. I did eventually find out that following Friday. The problem is, when she decided to defame my character and saying grandstanding, she also said that a council member had already brought that up. If she had actually looked at something, she would have seen that Councilwoman Williams brought up about the court electric bill. 2 separate different line items in the warrant. Different. Unfortunately, she violated my civil liberties. And it's wrong. And I cannot believe that this city is allowing that with no repercussions. Let me read you a doctrine issued by the Supreme Court. When a board creates a formal period for public comment, it creates a forum for speech. And these seeking to speak have the constitutional protection for their freedom of speech. She violated my freedom of speech. And now I'm concerned, has she done this to other people that I've emailed stuff in for this council to think about, or to ask questions about, or to give you ideas about? At what point do we step up and say enough's enough? Something needs to happen.
Is there any other comments from the audience? Or Ms. Miller?
Well, there would be, Charles Miller, by the way, there would be those that believe that Mr. Heimberger and I colluded, but I think the planets aligned specially tonight for what I'm about to say in conjunction with what he said. Today, free speech is under attack. In Romulus, it's also under attack. The Constitution not only guarantees free speech, but also freedom of expression. During the debate with Big Steve, thankful I got a memory like an elephant. And for those who thought I forgot, I did not. During the debate with Big Steve, he was allotted at least 10 minutes and more. A young lady who was here with a legitimate reason, I agree, was allotted to speak over 10 minutes. And then Mr. Barton asked her would she like more time, even though she did not ask for it. I was not allowed to speak. Plus, I was threatened by John Barton. Mr. Barton threatened to remove me as I protested about the injustice. Was I loud? Yes, I was. I was loud. And so what happened then? Somebody on this council or in this administration text the chief who was in back and had him come over, and he indeed threatened me too, saying, quote, "Chuck, don't make me do paperwork," unquote. As the phone calls and conversations came in that night, and have had conversations both at breakfasts and in my home with people who watch as I do what I do, which is redundant, do what I do when it comes to coming here and giving information to people that may be of great benefit. The conversation goes to, well, because those folks were black and you're white, that's reverse racism. I refuse to believe that there's racism on any level in this council. Racism is an ugly word. The practice of racism is ugly in itself.
Would you like some more time, Mr. Miller?
Please, sir, thank you.
You got it.
I will not be part of such talk. I believe the chairman certainly doesn't like me, but that's okay. I'm unliked by many, and liked by many also. I believe the chairman just doesn't like me exposing city business when the administration would rather keep the citizens in the dark instead of keeping them in the loop. I will continue to bring information to the citizens so at voting time they can make knowledgeable decisions on those who represent them. We, the citizens, when we lose our ability to speak, a constitutional guarantee, soon, so will our religion be gone. And so will our rights to assembly to be gone. And then will the rights of our children to be raised by us in the manner in which we want to will be gone. And before long, you won't be able to travel anywhere. That's what's going on in this country as socialism takes its dirty root. This is already happening across our country. And it's happening here. Citizens, stand up and be counted. For those watching, I'm not here to entertain you. I'm here to inform you. Listen to what I say. Check out what I say. And watch as it comes true, as it's been coming true this week on Channel 7. Thank you kindly. Thank you, sir, for your additional time.
You're welcome, Mr. Miller, and I don't dislike you, Mr. Miller. I try to like everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I feel the same about you. I don't dislike you. You and I are diametrically opposed politically, but I don't dislike you as an individual.
Thank you. Any other comments from the audience? If there's no more comments from the audience, we'll close that part out. Madam Clerk?
Thank you. Number 9 is unfinished business. Number 10 is new business. Number 11, communication.
Through the chair.
Ms. Talley?
I just want to piggyback off our mayor about the Detroit Boxing Gym. It was an amazing experience, so much misinformation about it out there. But I just want to say, when I guess people hear about Detroit Boxing Gym, and as the owner was telling us when we were down here, it's not about boxing, it's about education and educating these kids. We heard so many success stories while we were down there. And boxing is really secondary. It's about education. So just kudos and thanks for the invitation to go down there and check it out. It was a great experience, and it's hoping that's something that we can use in our city. And then my final thing I would like to say is welcome back to Dr. Ben Edmondson as our superintendent to lead our school district and our Romulus Eagles to soar again. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, I'd like to say thank you for the invitation also to the boxing thing. I just had an emergency that I couldn't make it, but thanks for the invite anyway. Mr. Abdo?
Yes, I'd just like to announce that back again at the RAC, we will be having another pickleball clinic by popular demand. People want to come and learn. It will be Thursday, February 23rd, 6 to 9, and the cost is $10. You have to register ahead of time. So, Mr. Mayor, did you get that on your calendar? They're looking for you.
They may keep on looking. I'll do my best, though. And you know what? Hats off to Mike and what he's doing on there with that sport. It might not be a sport for everybody, but it draws eyes on our community from different communities. And there's a big positive thread this weekend from Downriver community about the RAC, and they had just been out
Yeah,
there.
it is
and
helping
they
the
saw
RAC
what a
grow.
gem it is in our community. So it's residents like, you know, Mike and the work he's doing over there and having people in our community that don't normally share community that help us grow. So,
Well, they're looking
Great
for
work.
you, though.
all right, I'm gonna do my best.
Come on, you can show up one time.
I better do it before riding season starts, right?
Right.
Okay. Ms. Williams?
Yes. I would just like to say, if we're going to promote One Romulus, let's make sure everyone is treated fairly. And I'm not accusing anyone of anything, but I definitely, I take it to heart, whether a person agrees with me or disagrees with me or like me or don't like me, respect goes a long way. And we can't say One Romulus when some are treated different than others. And I don't want not one residents to feel that they've been disrespected or not heard of or not allowed to be spoken, or your comments, because I'm sure, Mr. Heinberg, you spoke with our chief of staff and the mayor's chief of staff, not ours, and you got your answer? Thank you. But I just want to make sure, and that starts with council, because we're an example. And so if we expect the residents to respect us, we have to do the same thing. And then on another note, with the boxing gym, I was touched. I think that program will be excellent in our school district. It's, to me, more like a tutoring program. The kids need that. We have kids in our district, whether it's known or not, that 8th, 9th grade, 10th grade, and they're reading at 6th grade level. We have less than 33% of Romulus kids that go to Romulus schools. We have to bring that back. We can't talk about it. We have to be about it. And we have to go in. If there are no counselors, I didn't even know that till today, no counselors at the school. How can a high school operate with no counselors? So we have to make sure, it just can't be, I support this one individual, I support this individual. It's about the kids. I hear so much going forth, but I don't hear about the kids. So it's unfair. It's unfair for us to talk about everything but the kids. They're our future. Our kids are not staying in Romulus. They say it's nothing here. I was telling folks at Wayne County, the problem with elections, the problem with voting is trust. It's not who you know and what you know. The younger generation is not going to come in and participate if they don't trust. And so we got to do a better job in doing better. And I say that from the bottom of the heart, because we come to these meetings and we sit up here and we vote and we talk about everything under the sun. But what are we really doing to bring change to our community? What are we doing to make someone else's life better? We have to do that. We was not elected based on who we like, okay? Just get rid of that. We were elected to do a good job, to make our city better, a better place to live in. That's what we must do. And I speak from the heart, because I don't want to be a part of making someone feel bad, regardless of how they make me feel. I got tough skin. I don't want to be a part of that. I really don't. And I'm not going to agree with someone else making someone else feel like they're not important, because everybody is important. And so I just had to say that, because it really bothered me seeing some things that's going on with our schools. And it's so sad. It is so sad of what is really going on in our city as a whole. And that's why I welcomed any business outside of trucking. I really do. I mean, because one business can bring another business. But on that note, I just had to spill that out. I'm sorry, colleagues. On another note, I was talking with Forgotten Harvest, and there's so many people that can't come out. There's so many people that don't have transportation. So we're setting it up to where, for those that can't come out, for those that don't have transportation, we're gonna make sure that we have a delivery team to deliver to the seniors, or just those that you don't even have to be a senior. Just be in need of food, but can't get to the high school. So what we need is you to contact me so we can get your name on the list and get it going. It'll probably take about 2 to 3 weeks to get everything set up. But we're at the high school tomorrow from 10 o'clock till 12. We try to be done about 12:30. So if you have any questions, you can call me at 734-673-8396. And I say again to those, because the information spreads and it's always wrong, the truck gets there at 10 o'clock. Once they unload, we have to set up the stations. So if you're getting there at 7:30 and 8 o'clock, that is not our fault that you're sitting in line for 2 hours. So I say that again because people are steady doing it and they're complaining. Everyone will be served. So again, if you have any questions, you can contact me at 734-673-8396. Thank you.
Is there any more communication from City Council? If not, number 12 is adjournment.
So moved.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Webb, supported by Ms. Abdo for adjournment. Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes?
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, we are adjourned. Thank you.